New CS2 update. We got two new maps, Thera and Mills. Both are competitive. We just played them. We just got the rank. We're going to be playing gameplay here of the clips and random things, stupid shit that happened to us. But I want James's thoughts. All right. We just got done playing these maps. We just got a rank. We'll start with Mills first.
All right.
What do you think?
Actually, I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
The layout is really weird. Mid is like so fucking big to the point where, especially on T side, I just avoid it. Basically, I will just rotate through T spawn. But overall, I thought it was a lot of fun. Um, yeah, if they somehow ended up adding it into the actual map pool, I could see it probably needs a little bit of changes here and there. But yeah. What about you?
I mean, I liked it a lot too. Okay, I like to mess around with the op. We're silver elites here. I may miss all my shots, but I still like the weapon.
Mhm.
Okay, so the mid and the rest of the map was very op heavy. I know even on B site, there's that sight line from the back truck all the way to the site that if you plant correctly, you could hold a headshot angle with an op, and it's really fucking strong. And then, like you said, in mid, they split it up into two, so there's four main pathways to the map, but mid has that like L connector by B site, and then what you would probably say is mid itself of the op, super long angle, by the way.
Yeah.
And that makes things complicated in the sense that it's almost like there's two mid fights in like a cross pattern, because the person from B can go to that mid and it looks across the connection from T side A to have that like horizontal mid fight, and then
Yeah.
if you were looking at the map, and then there's the actual CT to T long side op mid fight that just makes that cross section in the middle of the map. That's just kind of bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say bizarre, but it makes it crazy to hold, and especially when you're kind of in like 2 or 3 man situations, it just feels like there's too many places they can come from to hold, so you almost have to turtle on the sites and just pray that you went to the right one. And then getting to the other site, going through all those, there's so many things to clear, it makes the rotations super long unless you just run through everything kind of blindly.
Yeah. I mean, I think the weirdest thing for me, still getting used to it, is the like where you actually your first contact points are on the sites. Like the fact of on A, they can just run through and basically be like where the truck and the boat are instantly. On CT side,
Oh yeah.
like whenever you're a T is like so like mind boggling. And the same thing with like where the bridge is on B, I'm just never ready for them to be there. Like, or I wouldn't say now, but like the first like couple of times we played at STs, like I was just not ready for them to be that close up. Like every time we came over.
Yeah, I did like B side. I like that little drop down just behind B side that kind of
Yeah.
wraps back to CT, because
Mhm.
it makes it a bit more dynamic, but also not like super cluttery. I definitely like B. A and mid kind of still like. We played a couple maps, and after a couple maps, the flow ended up becoming really sustainable. I feel like we had like a groove at one point. I know we did really good on one map, obviously against people that probably are playing it for the first time too. But I feel like I could at least understand what I might need to do, and that felt good.
Yeah, I really like the sites. I'm just basically avoided mid because I'm not an opper, and so I just don't even want to fight an op. I just would rather
Yeah.
I want to just run in and
I
shoot
mean, the
things.
sight lines in mid are just so long. Like, you either have to tap with your rifle. I'm not confident enough to spray at that insane of a distance, and you pretty much need a scoped weapon or to be really good with head taps.
Yeah.
Um, of course you can spray. I just don't think it's what you should do in that situation.
Yeah, I mean the closest I got was just playing like the A connector to mid,
Yeah.
and I actually thought that was kind of fun, like as a CT, just because it's so, I don't know, it's a pretty strong like choke point, like where you can kind of just watch like one angle. I mean, there's two ways it can come from, but if you have an op in mid, they're not gonna
And
really.
no, that was super important because there
Yeah.
were rounds where I was opping in mid, and obviously I would get flashed off the angle or whatnot, but I still had you on that connector from A looking into mid to kind of stop them from just rushing through or going somewhere that they shouldn't. You could kind of peek out take a fight, hopefully find a pick, and then go back into the darkness of that little corner, and then I could peek out in mid again with an op. And I know that worked out a couple times for us. Although again, it's just there's a lot of like cubbies. I know we thought we tested at one point if you could jump in the water, thinking that it would be shallow like ancient. Was not. Killed us, definitely
Yeah.
murdered.
The one thing I wonder is I almost do think they're probably going to have to make some changes to A site at some point. I feel like it felt fine like now, but I feel like once people actually get to like using their util like somewhat decently, that it's going to be really hard to ever get into A site if you're not taking mid. And so you're probably either going to have to learn a lot of like decent mid smokes to get to the A connector from mid, or
I could see that being a meta where like if they find a smoke alignment, if you just smoked deep CT or at least just smoked the very edge of that bridge in mid, and then the T's could just swing out and take that one fight like you were saying in A connector, and then that's their crunch on A. People go main and then wrap through mid on that A con. Yeah, that we didn't really try that because we don't have the smoke lineup and we didn't really try it, but that could be really strong actually.
yeah, because it's just if you're trying to attack A without mid presence, like it's such a strong like single chokehold that if people that are good with their utility, it's probably gonna be really hard to get into that site at some point.
All right. Well, overall, 1 out of 10, brand new map. What would you give it 1 out of 10? And also a yes or no whether you would like to see it in the competitive map pool.
You know, I think I'll give it a 7. I do like it a lot, but I do think there probably needs to be a couple changes. But I'd be cool seeing it in the map pool. It's hard to imagine it right now, but I think it could be fun to actually have in the map pool. What about you?
Like 7's pretty solid because I do like it, but the map is a little loud with its colors and decorations to the point where it makes target acquisition a little difficult. I also would like to see B open up a little bit more. I feel like that weird like half wall assembly is actually very T-sided. If they're able to just smoke mid-site, that blocks off all those long sites, and then you can just take that, the 2v1 trade on B or A site main. I don't know. I feel like that site needs work. I really like B, like I said earlier, but I'd give it a 7 too, and I would like to see it after the changes. Maybe just a little tweaks. I would like to see it in there because it's unique. I think it could add a lot of variations, and I can already see some interesting strategies coming out of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take anything over the current Inferno at this point.
That is fair. I just take any new map over getting one, a map we've played for like 10 years. But
Yep.
Okay, so Thera.
Thera is interesting.
Fucking dog shit. I hate that map. Okay, go on.
I don't hate it nearly as much as you do, but I do think it's probably not great. The sites are, I don't know. I feel like playing the sites is fun, I guess. It's like weird because I feel like both the sites are like fun to play when I'm playing them, but they're objectively fucking wild as fuck. A site has like 6 different angles they can attack you from. B site is almost the exact opposite, where they have 2 angles that they can basically come from, and that's it. I mean, they can boost and try to come up, but if you have one guy up or one guy lower, I don't know. And mid is just a fucking shit show. Like, holy fuck.
Yeah, obviously, talking from the last map, I like to play mid for my team, and playing mid on that map is just a nightmare. I mean, there's the window connection. There's another connector right next to the window that T's can actually sneak through those blue doors and get to, so they can almost instantly wrap around and flank through mid from the CT side, which is kind of weird. And then the actual blue door also has another connector, a side door, to go into mid from the side, and then B side has a door, and then there's the actual T like completely open archway like peeking that they can do. It's just too much. It's too much to handle. Like you go in there, I feel like I get overwhelmed almost, and it's one of those situations where the death slamming where you watch one and then you'll go look at the other, and then does a CS:GO thing where they fly out some random one that you just stopped watching, and it's like fuck. I don't know. I always had those issues. I did complain about it, but I mean, I see possibilities. I know you liked B side. I do like B side a little bit too.
I think the main reason I like B side is just like whenever you're attacking, if you can sneak up, like they're like you can pull rotates and stuff like that, and you can kind of like get up there. Like I feel like there's a lot of like rat ass shit that you can do up there, like lurky boy shit, and I just really like that a lot. The thing is it does feel like if you plan on B site, it's really hard to retake, like almost impossible. I don't think I saw a single B site retake the entire time,
You know,
unless people just straight up whiffed.
maybe you can, and I just didn't realize it. But if one small change that would make CTs a little bit better retaking on that is making the drop down on the backside of B.
Yeah,
Just make it to where I can silently get back down off that if I decide not to drop, because every time I would go up there, I felt like I was either committed to drop, because if I decided to go anywhere else, it made the falling noise getting back off that wall, and then I was given away anyways. If they just
yeah.
had like a little ledge I could get up there to peek down and then make my decision whether I want to drop or not, and then I still have that way to back out silently if I don't want to do that. I feel like that would be nice.
Yeah,
For
they
CT
could
side.
put a little like ramp there or something like that, so you're not jumping. I
Some
guess.
box, like, just some weird box, something.
Yeah, I don't
I feel
know.
like that would help
I feel
for
like
CTs.
I do like how chaotic it is to an extent. I think my main thing is I think it's really fun to play in like the everyone let's just rush something way, like straight up like let's just all rush different angles onto a site and fuck it, or let's just like kind of be sneaky or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But I feel like an actual competitive like it's not very good. Like there's a lot of problems with it, a lot of things that are crazy about
It
it.
just feels like a Valorant map.
Yeah,
And
I feel like especially mid.
A2, like I don't necessarily like the weird underground ramp up that goes straight into the middle of the site with the window above it and the CT rotation, and then the secondary like spiral staircase that comes up out of the side, and the blue doors entry, and the entry from mid from the same area of the blue doors. It just feels a bit too chaotic to the point where, like, if I was trying to be more competitive about this, I wouldn't really know what to do with my utility. And a lot of the entry places there, I'm talking T coming into the site, the only thing I can really think of is smoking off that window and smoking off CT, but everything else is so just randomly out in the open.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, and the entry points are coming from underground, or there's such high walls that you can't really use mollies to get in the site without peeking the site itself. So it just feels like there isn't a lot of competitiveness in it. You just kind of have to work with timings or just aim duel it out.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is there's just like even on retakes, there's you come from CT, you have two different angles you can come from CT. You know, you're coming from like lower A, you can go two different ways. There's just a lot of ways to come no matter what.
Yeah.
Pause. But but yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it in like a I'm not gonna take this seriously type of way, and I just want to like fight with a bunch of people and like let's just like be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But as an actual map, yeah, it's not great. At least to me, not yet.
So 1 out of 10, and would you like to see it in the competitive map pool?
5. Yeah, I think I give it a 5. I feel pretty neutral on it. And then no, I don't want it. That's not a map I don't think it could ever come to the competitive map pool.
Me personally, I would probably give it. Trying to be nice here, but I would probably give it like a 3 or 4. I would say a 3. I did have fun with it, but I attribute that to just no one knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I did have a good map on it, but I was being clearly dumb and did stuff I would probably never do if I was playing it actually competitively.
Yeah, it feels like a death match map. Like I'm just gonna go fuck around and be dumb and have fun.
It was fun to try it. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, and I'm glad Valve put it in the competitive, and we got to try something new. But I think it really needs a lot of work when it comes to timings and maybe fleshing out, making it a bit smoother and giving more opportunities for utility retakes. and takes, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I feel about that. So
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Thera. That's Mills. What we're going to do now is we're going to play Memento and Assembly, which are the two new Wingman maps. We're also going to get ranks on those and give our opinions on that. That'll be a separate video. But hopefully the gameplay here was good enough, the random clips we have, and if we have anything else, we'll leave it on at the end. And thanks for watching our shitty opinions on these brand new maps. Hope to see them. Hope to see more. Hope to see them fixed.
The only right opinions. If anyone tells you differently or you feel differently, you're wrong. You have to have our opinions.
And let it be known. What rank did you get on these maps? We'll be right back.